Hey everyone, my name is Ruben, and in this presentation, I'm going to talk to you about why Halo Infinite is one of my favorite video games of all time. First of all, I have to explain that Halo is a first-person shooter franchise over 21 years old. The very first Halo game, Halo Combat Evolved, was released in 2001, and Halo Infinite is the newest release in the series. It was released in 2021, and it was developed by 343 Industries and published by Microsoft Game Studios. The Halo franchise is one of the most famous intellectual properties of Xbox, and this game was the trademark for the release of the Xbox Series X and S. In this game, you take the role of the Master Chief, a super soldier and the best weapon of mankind against an alien army called the Banished. Now, the reason why I love this game so much is because it adds content to a huge universe of information and stories that it has not only been covered in games, it has also been expanded in novels, comic books, movies, and TV series. It has a strapping narrative. The story is filled with moments that reminds us of the first games, and this is something that fans will love. The soundtrack immerses you in the world-like atmosphere full of action and adrenaline, and combined with the special theme, really gives it its own personality. It gets you into this mood of relaxation while you're exploring the map and engagement when you're in combat facing enemies. The character and level design is very creative and very interesting. The gameplay is frenetic and exciting. It lets you choose between an arsenal of weapons already known to the Halo franchise to face enemies on scenarios that are a mix of alien constructs and natural open spaces. And when you are not facing enemies, you have time to catch a view of the beautiful digital landscape of the open map while you're doing exploration. The soundtrack, composed by Kurt Schweitzer, really captures the mysterious and incredible essence of the places you visit during gameplay. The main setting of this game, uh, it's an alien artifact called Halo that ever since the first game gives a sacred and divine aura that I personally love. And hopefully in this presentation you'll have time to listen to this piece of the Sega Halo theme, the main theme of the game. One of the most important aspects of every Halo game is the multiplayer mode, and Halo Infinite is no exception to this rule. In Halo Infinite, this mode receives updates to fix errors and to keep adding more content as the week progresses. Um, keep the players interested by adding a seasonal pass with rewards for playing. And there's a wide selection of multiplayer modes that have been added and worked on ever since release. That's for casual gamers, but for competitive gaming is also taken into consideration by adding a ranking system and going as far as to developing professional esports events. But the most polemic feature about the multiplayer mode is certainly the cosmetic item shop, because it is the first time ever introduced in the Halo franchise. It lets you basically lets you buy pieces of armor for customization at a certain price when you buy them for in-game credits. The weekly events, as their name states, are weekly thematic events that are added to the multiplayer with free rewards for all players. And the reason why they are very interesting is because they play with known concepts of the franchise. For example, let's say what happened if the Halo took place during the samurai time time era or the World War II. That kind of juggling is what really makes them interesting. It gives players more customization options, and it keeps them interested in game. Uh, they have 10 seasonal challenges to complete, and that really gives them cosmetic items and gives the game prolonged popularity by doing this. Now, not everything about this game is perfect. There's some issues that could be fixed in the future, like how, for example, how the narrative needs continuation. Um, when you finish the main story and some side quests, there's not really much to do after the game is done, aside from the multiplayer mode. That's why some fans have already talked about the possibility of having a campaign expansion of some kind. Also, the multiplayer needs more personalization options because compared to other Halo games, the customization feels very limited and doesn't give the player as much freedom as before. And I found that some story concepts can be overwhelming when you are playing for the first time. So that's some issue they have to work on. But overall, it's a very fun and interesting game that young adults, both casual and competitive gamers, science fiction enjoyers, and longtime Halo fans will find very exciting. And that's it for my presentation. Thank you.